Welcome back to the Edwards Report. My name's Kaylin, and what if I told you that in 2025, Americans are projected to spend $226.6 billion on summer vacations alone? And this is in spite of the rising personal debt that is hitting all-time highs. So why are people maxing out credit cards, draining their savings, and even committing fraud just to get to Disney? Let's find out.
It's not a crime to have bad credit, so it would be crazy if a bunch of people who don't want to live in the United States anymore. What if you all just took out the biggest personal loans you could, or max out?
It's not illegal to not pay back loans. Take out whatever you can and bounce. Use the money to buy a new life in a better country. Your U.S. credit score is irrelevant in other countries. A lot of countries don't use a credit system, and the ones that do, you have to build your credit in that country. Is she promoting fraud? What?
You're not going to live in the United States. It doesn't matter that they gave you a bad credit score. And also, the U.S. is literally trillions of dollars in debt, so they really have no business judging your financial situation. You can take out loans and use your credit card to do things like buy a flight, start a business, pay for your visas, a residency, pay your rent, buy land, build a house. It depends on how much money you can qualify for. Honestly, the rich in the U.S. have been stealing from the poor for ever, so you may as well steal from them and go build the life that was promised to you in the U.S. somewhere way better than the U.S., which is actually anywhere is better. You know, it's not a
She's about to have the CIA, FBI, everybody on her tail. I've heard a lot of stuff doing these videos. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Wow.
I just pulled from made another loan to cover a credit card so we could go on our trip.
Oh my. Okay.
And I didn't tell him.
What do you mean? Wait, why doesn't he get to know that? Why are we doing that without his knowledge?
Oh.
He thought you were pulling from an emergency fund. Not that that's even better, but actually, no, you said the trip was pre-planned.
I was going to tell him.
But you didn't, so I don't give a you didn't.
Well, no, I didn't tell him.
Huh?
I didn't tell him.
Why?
Because, I was going to.
But you didn't.
I just didn't want him to stress about our trip.
That'll make my head hurt, man. Oh, the relationship trust issues, the financial cheating. Oh, this is financial infidelity. No. Financial infidelity, I don't care. This is financially cheating on your partner. Oh, I would be so mad.
But now you're stressing about the trip, even though the trip is already done because you've borrowed on it and now you have to pay it off. You borrowed, you opened it, you took out a loan. What kind of loan?
Uplift?
Okay.
No, Upstart was the loan I took for the card. Upstart, yeah. I took that out to pay off a credit card that was maxed out so that we could have spending on the card.
Oh my.
That has nothing to do with the vacation.
Well, then what are you talking about? Because that just contradicted your whole thing. I'm confused too. What are you saying?
So, yeah, we did finance the vacation that we just took.
From what? On what?
It's like the pre-planned, like a firm, like one of those. It's called Uplift.
So Uplift
you took
and
a loan
Upstart
to pay off a credit card.
Yeah, they're both two. I have both loans, an Upstart and Uplift.
And
loan.
Which one did you know about? And which one did you not? Or neither? Why? When? When did you do this?
The last week of the month before our trip.
What month?
September.
Okay. The last week of September.
Yes.
You did this.
Yes. I got a loan out and paid off a credit card that was maxed out.
Yeah, why? But why? Because that just it's got my name too on it, or is it just yours?
Mine.
Because
it's just mine.
It affects us both, and that is not really a good
you
feeling to
never,
have that go behind my back,
Yeah.
But
I didn't think you. I think you would understand why I did it, so I didn't figure you were going to be mad.
I'm crying over here. This is because I don't watch Caleb. So when I come across these clips, I'm starting to understand why he be yelling at people, though. Wow.
well,
Understand why you did it. You did it for the vacation.
Correct.
And are you mad?
yeah. say, Matt, I'm pretty disappointed.
I was thinking more today about the whole concept of not traveling because you have debt. I want to break it down for you. So let's say, for example, I go on one trip a year, which is usually what happens, and spend $3,000 on this trip. If you break it down, that's $250 a month. If you break it down weekly, it's $60 a week. There's many people that spend that on cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, things that are like not good for you. And also, for example, clothes, takeout, going out to eat, etc. And if you saw my budget and if you actually looked at the breakdown of every single thing that I spend money on, you would see that I really don't spend money on things like that. Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke weed or do drugs or really like go out with my friends often. Yeah, I really don't spend a lot of money on miscellaneous things. So I feel like people don't really bat an eye if someone's like, oh, I'm gonna go out for drinks with my friend and spend $50 or $60. People see though, when you spend a large amount of money on a trip, they see that as a problem, versus people don't really think it's an issue to spend little amounts.
Well, if you're spending those little amounts every single week, like, I get it, you know, an unplanned trip, or not unplanned trip, an unplanned outing with a friend, you spend $60, $100. But every week is unplanned. No, you better start planning. That needs an itemized section in your budget if it's going to keep happening. These trips, when you start to break it down that way, I get that it can make it seem like it's smaller, but I don't think it really works like that.
More frequently. Do you know what I mean? Basically,
because if it worked like that, then just save that amount of money every week, and then you can pay for the trip in full whenever it's time to take the trip.
Instead of me going out to drink or going out to eat or whatever, I'm taking that money and I'm saving it every single paycheck. And I'm just eventually putting it towards travel versus putting it towards those little things. So.
And that's great, as long as it's not on a credit card.
Guys, I thought this topic needed some discussion because basically Gen Zs and Millennials are now using debt to fund their travels. And as a travel creator myself, I always advocate for getting out there and exploring the world, but I don't mean using debt to finance it. I don't really know what to think of this, but I would love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on both sides, I guess. So feel free to leave it in the comments below. But in this article, it says that 42% of Gen Zs and 47% Millennials are using debt to pay for their summer travels, and summer travels by this generation is actually substantially high. This actually shows the most popular methods of using debt to finance, so this includes credit cards being paid over multiple months, buy now pay later services, borrowing from family and friends, and even personal loans. So again, if you're someone who participates in these methods, I'm not judging or anything like that. I'm just genuinely wanting to know what your thought process is. Like, you travel now, but then how are you going to pay off the debt later? Are you just, taking up extra side gigs, things like that? And I know life is short and it's best to, travel while you're young, yada yada, but I mean, even this article says that travel happy Gen Zs don't even feel optimistic about their finances, which I mean is completely understandable.
I'm on vacation right now while paying off $30,000 in credit card debt. Please don't tell Dave Ramsey, okay? I don't feel like being yelled at while I'm on my vacation. But I just want to say really quickly that changing my mindset from this mindset of like, I can just buy it, I'll deal with it later, like put it on credit, to I will only buy it if I have the cash for it, is so relieving. I used to go on trips like this and I used to just swipe the credit card and then feel this sense of guilt because I knew that I didn't really have the money and it was going to be on the credit card and it's going to be accruing interest, and I knew that when I got home there was going to be like a mess to clean up, but I would just do it anyways. To now it's like, if I don't have the cash for it, I'm not paying for it. Today it was torrential downpour. It was very uncomfortable and I decided to buy a rain jacket. We are in Disney, so these rain jackets are super expensive, but I don't even own a rain jacket at home. So I thought about it.
Wait, this is Disney? Pookie! It's a Disney trip? She didn't say that earlier. Oh, man.
I was like, okay, I don't have a rain jacket at home, so this can be used at home as well. How much money do I have in my bank account? I have plenty of money to buy the rain jacket, and I just bought it. I didn't have to worry about what I might feel like in 2 weeks when I look at my credit card statement and realize that it's much higher than I was expecting. I just bought it and moved on with my day. It was definitely an unexpected cost, so it's going to change the vacation budget just a little bit, but not to a point where it's going to ruin the vacation, and it's not adding to that feeling of stress and anxiety. Just feels really good.
So let's talk about the mindset that got us here. Americans are spending more than ever on vacations, even as inflation, debt, and financial stress hit record highs. The average summer vacation now costs nearly $2,867 per household. And still, people are willing to borrow from the future just to escape the present. And I get it. People work hard all year. They don't get to see their families. They don't get to see their husbands or their wives, and they just want to get out. But does that really mean you should be maxing out your credit cards just to escape? To me, it's not just about the trip. It's about the identity that people are chasing. They're following all these different social media influencers online, comparing their lives to how they see the social media influencers' lives are. And it's just not reality. You don't have that type of freedom that they have. They're getting the trip comped. They're getting probably paid to go on the trip. And you're working all year. You should not be following these people and comparing your lifestyle to them. Whether it's to impress people online, distract from the stress, or feel that deserving feeling of rest, vacations have become a financial mirage, something that people are chasing even if they can't really afford it. But the truth is, you don't need to earn rest through recklessness. True rest doesn't come from swiping away at the beach. It comes from contentment. And contentment can't be financed. So do me a favor right now. If you guys know anybody who has spent way too much on vacation, or if it's you yourself, give this video a like and leave a comment right now. Just full transparency. What is the most you've ever spent on a vacation? Where'd you go? How long were you gone? And how much did it cost? Let us know in the comment section below.
$717. Where'd you go? What are you going? What are you doing? Is that first class? Where are you going? That's so much. What? That's not funny. You're yourself. What are you talking about? Hey guys, the big expense out here is a medical thing. It's American Airlines. It's American. What?
So Caleb and I have a different style in speaking with people and assessing situations. But some folks need to be yelled at. Your biggest expense is an American Airlines on your card. Pokey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Send them to Caleb. You know, and they want a little bit of compassion and some gentle speak. I'll still tell the truth. The truth in love, though. Send them over here to me.
I'm going to Switzerland.
Oh my! When? This is not funny. Shut the up.
In January.
Your life is on the line here, dude. And it's clearly all a joke to you. You don't give a
I do.
No, you don't. You're laughing through this like it's all a joke. Ha ha, I'm destroying my life. Giggle, giggle.
No. I'm going to Switzerland in January for a ski trip.
Cancel it!
No. It's cheaper to go there. It's cheaper to go there than it is to go to Colorado.
It's cheaper to not do any of it, you dumb human.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah, but
what do I do here then? What do I do here then? You don't make money. You just spend $1,000, and I know you're gonna spend more than that on this thing. What am I gonna do? You're not willing to sacrifice. You're not willing to sacrifice your biggest vice. You're not willing to sacrifice you going to doing the thing. What am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to do? What could I possibly do? What could anyone do? What could the producer do? What could Lindsay do who's talking to you? What could Jake do who's making the spreadsheets? What are the editors gonna do? What could we possibly do? What could anyone do? You're not willing to cancel your that you want the most. What could anyone do? You don't care. You're selfish.
I do care.
No, you don't. You're not willing to cut the biggest thing. What are you talking about?
Well, I think if I can just save.
It's crazy because she's really getting yelled at to her face. And just like her whole demeanor hasn't even changed. Like she does not care about what dude is saying. Now, if somebody was talking to me like that, we would have some problems. You know, I'm not going to put paws on anybody. You know, I'm a little bit more dignified than that. But I'm going to remove myself from the situation. I'm going to say, who do you think you're talking to? I'm just playing. Let me calm down. What would y'all do? How would y'all react? Do y'all think that she deserves to be spoken to like this? Do y'all think that anybody deserves to ever be spoken to like this? Now, some people do need to get kind of like, hello, wake up. This is an emergency. But I don't know. This wouldn't go too well with me.
Save! You spent $1,200 more than you make. What money are you saving?
Because I booked that trip.
It's $700. What's bigger, $1,200 or $700?
Obviously $1,200.
35 years old, paying off $169,000 in debt. Yes, I'm going on a Disney cruise to help me pack for my trip. I know this is going to push a lot of people's buttons, but you can pay off debt.
I literally just went on a Disney cruise. The Disney cruises are like $10,000 to $20,000, low key. So if you're already that much in debt, ooh. Now ours was comped. You know, we do creator stuff, so we didn't have to pay. It was the inaugural sailing of the Disney Treasure, so we were gone for a bit. But paying for that, ooh, don't do it.
And still live your life. What that looks like probably varies person to person. For me, that means continuing to travel and budgeting for the things that are wants in my sinking funds. Each paycheck, I allocate dollars to save towards wants or bigger spends like a vacation. I'm in this for the long haul. $169,000 is a big number that's not going to go away quickly, so years of not going on vacation or only buying necessities is not sustainable in my opinion. Although I am trying to chip away at the number as fast as possible. I'm working the debt snowball method and I've paid off $32,000 so far this year, clearing 9 of the 18 debts I owe.
Go girl, you're doing good. That's really good.
I'm proud of the progress I've made, and I'm building better financial habits by delaying instant gratification and saving for the things I would previously spontaneously purchase. So now back to the cruise. If you're curious how much I spent on this vacation, instead of putting it towards my debt, all in I spent about $1,000. Part of the cost was covered as a gift for my birthday, and the room expenses was split 3 ways. I love traveling with friends to save on cost. I also didn't buy any new outfits or accessories for this trip. The only thing I purchased was a snorkel. In a different spending mindset, I would have bought an entire new wardrobe for this trip, so it's great to see these new habits at work.
Not me almost crying because we went on vacation and I swiped my credit card too many times, and now I'm trying to figure out how in the world we're going to pay for it without getting charged interest. But you want your babies to be able to have fun on vacation and get souvenirs and go out to eat. I get it, man. I get it. You want to give your kids a great life. You want to give them a life that maybe you didn't have, where you go on vacations, and when you go on the vacations, you can get the souvenirs that you weren't able to get when you were a child. However, kids want happy parents, peaceful parents that aren't perpetually stressed because they feel the weight of the debt that their parents are in. And I heard this quote from a pastor on a retreat one time, and he said that kids spell love Time. So your kids, they're going to love spending way more quality time with you, especially if you're in good spirits and peaceful, than you trying to manufacture these experiences for them that they're probably going to forget anyway. But they probably won't forget is how you made them feel when you were stressed during those experiences that you were trying to put them on. So this is kind of how I think about it, but what do you guys think?
How are people doing this? I see people online going on these extravagant vacations and buying like expensive things, and I am into my career and have a good job, and instead of going to Europe like I wanted to this summer, I went to the desert and camped on BLM land because it's free with friends, and it was a great time. But like, how are people doing this? Are you just like in mad debt and I don't know about it? Like, what are people doing? Everything is so freaking expensive.
One thing that I will never do, and no judgment to anyone who does this, I'm just saying it's something I would never do, is finance a vacation. So basically, before we even leave, before we even book, I already have the cash, it's already earmarked, and I will use a card to book the airline tickets, to book the hotel. But as soon as the charge hits my account, I'm going in and I'm paying it off in full. And the main reason why I do it this way is because, you know, when I go on vacation, I want it to be a relaxing experience. Not only relaxing while I'm there, but also when I come home. You know, I want to be refreshed. I want to be stress-free. I want to like live off of this high for as long as possible. And for me personally, if I leave a relaxing vacation and come home to thousands of dollars of debt with no way to really pay it off, it's almost like the vacation is null and void, because now I'm stressing about that. This kind of reminds me of this time years ago. I was in a restaurant, and our waitress, she was working there part-time in the evenings and on the weekends, and we got to talking, and she was saying how the reason why she had this part-time job is because she did, I think it was like 2 or 3 months in Europe, and she had put everything on a credit card. So now she was working to pay off the charges. And if you were to ask her if it was worth it doing it that way, she probably would say yes. But I just know, me personally, it would stress me out way too much.
Let's be honest. We're not just traveling for fun anymore. Some of us are traveling because it communicates a sense of status to the rest of the world. Some people aren't just out here trying to get a break anymore. They're trying to broadcast how much better their life is than everybody else who may be watching them. And that's why some of these people are taking like 10 trips per year on credit cards. That's why we see influencers vacationing through debt while preaching about financial freedom. It's about rest, guys, not relevance. Again, you cannot be out here competing with these social media influencers. They have you beat. They are willing to go into debt, to go into the red, to perpetuate a lifestyle that might possibly be appealing enough to get enough attention so that they can start getting brand deals and start getting these trips paid for. Do not be competing in a losing game. If you have a regular 9-to-5 job, work that job, make your money, save your money, and go on trips when it makes sense to you. That way you're not stressed and you can actually experience that rest that you deserve. In James 4:1-3, it reminds us that unchecked desires leaves us restless. And today's travel culture feeds exactly on that. It's no longer about experiences. It's about aesthetics. The problem isn't travel though. It's idolatry. The kind that sacrifices savings, peace, and honesty just to keep up appearances. I don't know about y'all, but that's not freedom. That's a form of quiet slavery that you know about and experience all of the disadvantages of, but you have everybody tricked, at least for now. So drop a comment right now. What do you guys think? I know some of y'all don't like when I get preachy, but I got to, y'all. I got to. What do you guys think is more important? Real peace or a perfect looking vacation post where you look like you're experiencing peace, but you're really stressed out of your mind because you swiped your card just to get to where you are? If you guys haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel where we get into topics like this. We talk about them honestly and we provide biblical perspective to them because I think the world needs a little bit more of that.
Dave Ramsey hates to see me come in because I'm paying off debt and we are budgeting and I'm going on vacation next week. And I know what you're going to say. Like, you shouldn't go on vacation if you're in debt. I'm not going in more debt to go on vacation. This was all saved for. Okay. We saved for it. It's coming out of a specific savings fund that we put aside to go on vacation. And I don't think that you should not enjoy your life just because you're paying off debt or you're trying to meet savings goals. If you make enough money.
The issue is you are in debt because you did not delay gratification. So you bought your future enjoyment to the present in the form of going into debt because you couldn't pay for it at the time, which is why you went into debt. And now you're in that deficit. So what you're supposed to do going forward in the future is work yourself out of that deficit. So the idea that people are in this deficit and at the same time saving money on the side as if this money could now be used for present and future expenses without thinking about the past is just, I get where they're coming from, but to me, I'm like, did you forget that you had already brought the future fund forward? So maybe you should clean that up before you start adding more to it, because all that money that you saved that you think is just separate could actually be used to get you out of the hole that you're in. And then we wouldn't even be talking about this. That's just me.
I have said we make $150,000 a year. You should be able to pay off debt.
Whenever they start saying those, you should be able to, I should be able to, all the entitlement statements. Nah, dog. That ain't how it work.
Meet your savings goals and go on vacation as long as you are paying attention to your finances, which we are. And I'm not going to stop making memories with my children and treating them to nice things like vacation. We go on vacation twice a year, very modest. We're not flying anywhere, we're driving. And it's very close to us, it's only 2 hours away. And we split Airbnb costs. We did it as fiscally responsible as we possibly could. I think, let me do the math here. I think the whole thing is going to be under $4,000, which is a lot. But I will math it all out at the end. I will come up with all the cost and do a breakdown of how much it costs. I think I can do it now.
Godspeed to you.
If you're new here, I'm Faith. I'm 22 years old. My husband and I are paying off $101.4K worth of debt. If you're one of my coworkers and you see that I'm doing this on my lunch break, mind your business. Anyways, so we are still vacationing while we're paying off debt, and we actually have a week-long trip to Florida in about 5 weeks. And with that being said, we've already paid for the Airbnb. We split it with family, so it wouldn't cost as much. but we're giving ourselves a $600 budget for the week for eating out, gas, and any extra activities we do. We're not going to do any shopping while we're there because we don't need anything. And I feel like that's where I always go wrong. I'm like, oh, we're on vacation, let's buy new stuff. We don't need new clothes. We don't need any of that. Why do I always do that? Anyways, so I'm giving us a $600 budget, but it's not coming out of like the money we make. I am doing little side things to come up with that money. One of the things is we have a $200 gift card that we can use for like anything that we got from our last trip that we took to Williamsburg, because we booked it through Blue Green Vacations, which if you don't know, it's a timeshare place. We don't have a timeshare. We just signed up so we could get the discount to go listen to about the timeshare because they try to sell it to you. But when you sign up, you get a huge discount on like your hotels and stuff. So like a trip that would have been like $740, I think, for 3 nights in Williamsburg, right next to Busch Gardens, we only paid $240. And then got a $50 Bass Pro Shop gift card, and we got a $200 gift card, like MasterCard gift card. That's what I was trying to say. So we're saving that for this trip. So that's 200 of our 600, and then the other 400 I am going to make by selling stuff around the house. I'm all the time decluttering. I want everything out of our house. I feel like there's just too much crap.
Who else goes on vacation broke? Because I know I do. I'm going to Bali in a few days. To be fair, when I booked this trip, I was supposed to have a job. I booked this trip like last year. So I expected like everything would be normal. I freelance for a startup, and you know, there's always risk associated with that. But when I least expected it, my client was like, yeah, we're donezo, like come May. And once again, going on a vacation broke. I didn't think that this would happen, but hear me out. Sometimes I feel like it's the best kind of trip when you're like broke. I remember I used to do this all the time in college. Like I didn't book flights because I had the money. I just conjured up whatever I could find, and I went on the trip with like $100 in my bank account. And it gives you like such a sense of adventure. I'm not suggesting that everyone do this, but it's worked out for me so far. Like I took this really expensive like study abroad trip in college to Australia, and it was probably like one of the best trips of my life. And to me, that's why it's like so worth it, because I'm like, you're never gonna regret traveling. And I'm sure as hell not gonna.
Depending on how much debt you go in for it. But you could also do this exact same thing by having the money and just not spending it. But I get her point. Her point is to not let your financial situation dictate whether or not you go on the trip. Life is short and you should go. The caveat to that is you should not be going into extreme debt, or you should probably not be going on these extravagant trips if you are in extreme debt in order to go. So here's the bottom line. Vacations are a blessing, but not when they bankrupt your future. Whether it's a $700 weekend or a $13,000 Disney trip, the method matters. Debt turns a good memory into a long-term burden. Lies destroy trust, and impulsive trips often reveal deeper issues we're not really willing to confront. But you don't need to escape your life when you're building one that is on peace and wisdom. As the proverb says, the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but the fools gulp theirs down. What does this mean to you? Don't burn your future for a present moment of relief. You need to delay gratification and make smart decisions today that might seem like they're a little bit disadvantageous, but they set you up for a bright future. So do me a favor right now, and if you haven't already, go ahead and like this video and leave a comment about what you think about all the craziness that we're seeing in these American vacations. If you guys haven't already, go to theedwardsreport.com and subscribe and join almost 17,000 other doom scrollers, people that are trying to come alongside as a community and figure out how to survive in clown world. Thank you guys for watching this video once again. I pray that the Lord blesses you and he keeps you, that he lifts his face towards you, and that he gives you peace.